So here's something unexpected. As we pulled up to our property, we saw some ravens, and one was on the ground by our log pile and would not fly up into the air and was sort of huddling and let it approach us. So we decided to pick it up and bring it inside and see what was going on here. It took food. Luckily, we had food with us from the ducks, so we were able to feed it and give it some water. And we just kind of let it sit for a while and let the other birds fly away. We don't know what the situation was or how it got hurt, but we have seen hawks attack the nests, so could have been something like that. We pampered it and tried to keep it comfortable and brought it home and investigated, and sure enough, it did have some punctures under its wings. It had some blood on it and everything like that. So our rescue ended up turning into a hospice situation, but hopefully this poor little kid had a nice peaceful end to its life. It had some nice last food to eat, comfortable warm place. Well, I shouldn't say warm because it was hot out, so a nice cool place to rest and pass in peace. Rest in peace, Roscoe. It was only 8 hours, but you were a beautiful bird. We've seen lots of footprints out here. Here's a fun little cute footprint. Lots of random footprints while we're out here, and we couldn't identify that one. We also had a fire in the neighborhood, so it's not far away to Mount Humphreys, and this was the slate fire. Pretty scary. Okay, let's go ahead and do our next project. We are going to prime the outside of our shipping container. We're using a white elastic paint, and it's supposed to reflect and insulate, and it's also going to provide a great base for when we decide to paint it. Here's the roof. That's especially important to keep it cool. And now it's time to put in our floors. So we chose a pergo flooring, and we've got our undercover laid out, and Casey did a great job. We still have the second shipping container that we're going to have to work on the floor, just subfloor and everything. But for now, this feels like a great accomplishment. We have a nice, beautiful pergo floor in container number 1, and it's really, really pretty. Thanks, Casey. Next project for July, we're putting our subfloor down in the second container. So now that's done. We were able to purchase our sliding glass door. It's in the back right now, waiting for its installation. First step to getting the second door in is we have to frame out the opening where it's going to go, like that. That's another view of it. And then in goes the door. That's awesome. Now we've got sliders on both sides, and that's going to make getting in and out of the container better for us. Yay! And so many big purchases this summer. These are our new cabinets, not the ones that we originally wanted, but after COVID with the shortage at IKEA, we had to settle for these. And here's our paint sample. We used one of our cinder rocks to try to match a pretty color for the outside of the container to paint it. And next to this is our fridge. So our little mini fridge will go out there. And then on top of the mini fridge right now, you see the Bluetti that will eventually hook up to the solar panels to provide us power. Now this is inside our container. We've got the fridge, we've got the cabinets, we've got a butcher block countertop, we've got the Bluetti. It's really looking like a little tiny home, I think. Oh yeah, and we got a futon as well. So that futon will pull out to a queen-size bed, and if we don't end up using it in here, we'll put it in the RV. Here's a fun pano of the container that is now almost finished versus the one that's totally under construction and a disaster. That's fun. And look at this, nighttime falls and we have lights on. They're not hooked up yet to the solar. We had to charge the battery at home and bring it out, but nonetheless, we've got lights. The ducks are surprised, and with the lights, it's amazing how many insects and then therefore bugs and other little critters come on into the house. Good thing we've got our screens. And as sad as it is, we have not forgotten about our good old faithful RV. Unfortunately, at the moment, it is just acting as a storage facility. So it's on the property, and it's got everything in it, and it's really being not utilized for anything more than storage at the moment. But it's doing a great job at that. And here's a look at the road that we drive down to get to our property. Our driveway is just to the left, and that's looking up our driveway at our place. Now, when it rains out here in the summer, it actually forms a river right across the street from our little driveway here. The benefit of that is that the ducks love it. The downside is that people have to kind of cut through our pull-out where our driveway is to get around this big puddle. But happy ducks, that's for sure. And silly as it is, I love these little critters out here, the velvet ants. Turns out that they're actually a wingless wasp, and they do sting, but they're cool looking. And last but not least, for our summertime, we saw all of these birds circling, and it was probably about maybe 3/4 of a mile away. So we went on over there to see what the commotion was all about, and this is what we found. Assuming it's a bobcat, what's left of a bobcat in any way. Pretty interesting to see it. I kind of wish I kept the skull, but we left it behind for the birds. And that's it for our summertime projects at the shipping container. I'd say there's a lot of progress that has been accomplished.